Hello, today I'll be reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Chapter 7. The Sorting Hat. The door swung open at once. A tall, black-haired witch in emerald green robe stood there. She had a very stern face. And Harry's first thought was that this was not someone to cross. The first year's Professor McGonagall and Hagrid. Thank you, Hagrid. I will take them from here. She pulled the door wide. The entrance hall was so big you could have fitted the whole Dursley's house in. The stone walls were lit with flaming torches like the ones at Gringotts, the wizard bank. The ceiling was too hard to make out, and the magnificent marble staircase facing them led to the upper floors. They followed Professor McGonagall across the flagged stone floor. Harry could hear the drone of hundreds of voices from a doorway to the right. The rest of the school must be already here. But Professor McGonagall first showed the first years into a small empty chamber of the hall. Standing rather closely together than they would usually have done, peering about nervously. Welcome to Hogwarts, Professor McGonagall. The start of Term Mangrel was begin shortly, but before you take your seats in the Great Hall, you'll be sorted into your houses. The sorting is a very important ceremony. Because while you are here, your house will be something like your family within Hogwarts. You'll have classes with the rest of your house, sleep in your house room, and spend free time in your house common room. The 4 houses are called Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Each house has its own noble history and each has produced outstanding witches and wizards. While you're at Hogwarts, your chance will earn your health points, while any rule breaking will lose house points. At the end of the year, the house with the most points is awarded the House Cup, a great honor. I hope each of you will be a credit to whichever house becomes yours. The sorting ceremony will take place in a few minutes in front of the rest of the school. I suggest you all smarten yourselves up as much as you can while you're waiting. Her eyes lingered for a moment on Neville's cloak, which was fastened under his left ear and on Ron's smudged nose. Harry nervously tried to flatten his hair. I shall return when we are ready for you, said Professor McGonagall. Please wait early. She left the chamber. Harry swallowed. How exactly do they asked him. Some sort of test, I think. Fred said it hurts a lot, but I think he was joking. Harry's heart gave a horrible jolt. A test in front of our whole school, but he didn't know any magic yet. What on earth? What on earth would he have to do? He hadn't expected something like this the moment they arrived. He looked around anxiously like this the moment they arrived. No, I said that part. And also he looked around anxiously and saw that everyone else looked terrified too. No one was talking much except Hermione Granger, who was whispering very fast about all the spells she'd learnt and wondering which one she'd need. Harry tried not hard not to listen to her. He'd never been more nervous, never, not even when he'd had to take a school report home to the Dursleys, saying that he somehow turned his teacher's wig blue. He kept his eyes fixed on the door. Any second, Professor McGonagall would come back and lead him to his doom. Then something happened which made him jump about a foot in the air. Several people behind him screamed, "What the?" he gasped. So did the people around him. About 20 ghosts had just streamed through the back wall. Pearly white and slightly transparent, they glided across the room, talking to each other and hardly glancing at the first years. They seemed to be arguing, or looked like a fat little monk was saying, "Forgive and forget. I say we ought to give him a second chance. My dear Friar, haven't we given Peeves all the chances he deserves? He gives us all a bad name, and he's not really even a ghost. I say, what are you all doing?" A ghost wearing a ruff and tights had suddenly noticed the first years. Nobody answers. Nobody answered. "New students," said the fat friar, smiling around at them. "About to be sorted, I suppose." A few people nodded mutely. "Hope to see you in Hufflepuff," said the friar. "My old house, And when I did a test, I was in Hufflepuff. So that means my ghost was a fat friar. "Move along now," said a sharp voice. "The sorting ceremony is about to start." Professor McGonagall had returned. One by one, the ghosts floated away through the opposite wall. "Now, form a line," Professor McGonagall told the first years, "and follow me." Harry had never imagined such a strange and splendid place. It was lit by thousands and thousands of candles, which were floating in mid-air over a long table. These tables were laid with glittering golden plates and goblets. At the top of the hall was another long table where the teachers were sitting. Professor McGonagall led the first years up here so that they could they came to halt into line facing the other students. With the teachers behind them. The hundreds of faces staring at them looked like twinkling lanterns in the flickering candlelight, dotted here and there. Among the students, the ghosts shone misty silver. Mainly to avoid all the staring eyes, Harry looked upwards and saw a velvety black ceiling dotted with stars. He heard Hermione whisper, "It's bewitched to look like the sky outside. I read it in Hogwarts history." It was hard to believe there was a ceiling there at all, and that the Great Hall did simply open to the heavens. Harry quickly looked down again as Professor McGonagall silently placed a four-legged stool in front of the first years. On top of the stool, she pointed to Wizard's hat. This hat was packed and frayed and extremely dirty. Aunt Petunia wouldn't have let it in the house. Maybe they had to try and get a rabbit out of it. Harry thought wildly. That seemed sort of thing. Noticing that everyone in the hall was now staring at the hat, he stared at it too. For a few seconds there was complete silence. Then the hat twitched. A lip near the brim opened wide like a mouth, and the hat began to sing. "Oh, you may not think I'm pretty, but don't judge on what you see. I'll eat myself if you can find a smarter hat than me. You can keep your bowlers pluck, your top hat sleek and tall, for I'm the Hogwarts sorting hat and I can cap them all. There's nothing hidden in your head the sorting hat can't see, so try me on and I will tell you where you ought to be. You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring, nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal. Those patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil. And when I did the test, I was in Hufflepuff, as I told you, and that means I was just and loyal and unafraid of toil. That rhymes. Or yet is wise or Ravenclaw. And my sister and brother was in Ravenclaw, and my mum was in Gryffindor. You'll make your real friends, those cunning folk, use any means to achieve their ends. So put me on, don't be afraid, and don't get in a flap. You're in safe hands, though I have none, for I'm a thinking cap. The whole hall burst into applause as the hat finished its song. It bowed to each of the four tables and became quite stiff again. So we've just got to try on the hat. One whispered to Harry. "I'll kill for it." He was going on about whistling a troll. Harry smiled weakly. Yes, trying on the hat was much better than doing a spell. But he did wish he could have tried it on. The cats seemed to be asking rather a lot. Harry didn't feel brave or quick-witted or any of it at the moment. If only the hat had mentioned a house for people who are a bit crazy. That would have been the one for him. Professor McGonagall. Now, step forward, holding a long roll of parchment. When I call your name, you'll put the hat on and sit on the stool to be sorted, she said. Abort, Hannah! A pink-faced girl with blonde pigtails stumbled out of line, put on the hat, which fell right down over her eyes and sat down. A moment pause. Hufflepuff! Shouted the hat. The table on the right cheered and clapped as Hannah went to sit down at the Hufflepuff table. Harry saw the ghost of the fat friar waving merrily at her. Born Susan! Hufflepuff! Shouted the hat again, and Susan scuttled off to sit next to Hannah. Boot Terry. Ravenclaw! The table second from the left clapped this time. Several Ravenclaws stood up to shake hands with Terry as he joined them. Bookless Mandy went to Ravenclaw too, but Brown Lavender became the first new Gryffindor, and the table on the far left exploded with cheers. Harry could see one's twin brother's catcalling. Meow! Meow! Bulstrode Mason then became a Slytherin. Perhaps it was Harry's imagination. After all, he'd heard about Slytherin, but he thought they looked unpleasant a lot. And Bulstrode then became a Slytherin. Perhaps it... No, I said he was starting to feel definitely sick now. He remembered being picked for teams during sports lessons at his old school. He had always been last to be chosen. Not because he was no good, but because no one wanted Dudley to think they liked him. Finch! Fletchley, Justin! Hufflepuff! It shouted. Sometimes Harry noticed the hat shouted out the house. Out the house at once, but at others it took a little while to decide. Finnegan Seamus, the sandy-haired boy next to Harry in the line, sat on the stool for almost a whole minute before the hat declared him a Gryffindor. Grandma Hermione almost ran to the store and jammed the hat eagle on her head. Gryffindor! Shouted the hat. Ron groaned. A horrible thought struck Harry, as horrible thoughts always do when you're nervous. What if he wasn't chosen at all? What if he just sat there with a hat over his eyes for ages? Until Professor McGonagall jerked it off his head and said to her, obviously made a mistake and he'd better get back on the train. When they were along with him, the boy he kept losing his toe was caught. He fell over on his way to the store. They had took a long time to decide of Neville. When it finally shouted, ran still wearing it and had to jog back and gale of laughter to give it to McDougall Morbag. Malfoy swagged forward when his name was called and got his wish at once. The hat had barely touched his head when a scream, "Slytherin!" Malfoy went to join his friend Crabbe and Goyle. I think he thought to himself, Moon, not Packerism, meant a pair of twin girls, Patil and Patil, and Perks, Sally, and then at last, Potter Harry! As Harry stepped forward, whispered, and suddenly broke out like hissing fires all over the hall. Potter, did she say? The Harry Potter. The last thing Harry saw before the hand dropped over his eyes was the hall full of people craning to get a good look at him. Never a second he was looking at the black inside of the hat. He waited. Said a small voice. Difficult, very difficult. Plenty of courage, I see. Not a bad mind either. There's talent. Oh my goodness, a nice thirst to prove. Now that's interesting. So where shall I put you? Harry gripped the edges of the stool and thought, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. Eh? Said the small voice. Are you sure? You could be great enough. It's all here in your head. And Slytherin will help you on the way to greatness. No doubt about that. No? Well, if you're sure, better be Gryffindor! Harry heard the howl. Shout the last word to the whole hall. He took the hat and walked shakily towards the Gryffindor table. He hardly noticed that he was getting the loudest cheer yet. Percy, the prefect, got up and shook his hand vigorously, while the twins yelled, "We got Potter! We got Potter!" Harry sat down opposite, because you know he's very famous. Harry sat opposite the ghost in the rock he'd seen earlier. The ghost patted his arm, giving Harry the sudden horrible feeling. He just plunged into a small bucket of ice cold water. He could see the high table talking to him. At the end, nearest him, sat Hagrid, who caught his eye and gave him this thumbs up. Harry grinned back, and there, in the centre of the high table, in a large golden chair, sat Albus Dumbledore. He recognized him at once from the card he got out of the chocolate frog on the tray. Dumbledore's silver hair was the only thing in the whole hall that shone as brightly as the ghosts. Harry spotted Professor Quirrell too, the nervous young man from the relief court. He's looking very peculiar in a very large purple turban. And now there were only 3 people left to be sorted. Turpin Lizard became a wrinkle, and then it was Ron's turn. He is pale green. Harry crossed his fingers under the table, and a second later, the hat had shouted, "Gryffindor!" Harry clapped loudly with the rest, as Ron collapsed into the chair next to him. "Well done, Ron. Excellent," said Percy Weasley pompously across Harry as the beanie blaze was made a slither. Professor McGonagall rolled up her scroll and took the sorting hat away. Harry looked down at his empty gold plate. He had only just realized how hungry he was. The pumpkin pasties seemed ages ago. Harry looked down at his empty gold plate. He had only just realized. Oh no, I just said that part. I always lose it. Harry looked down at. No, I just said that. I wish Dumbledore had got to his feet. He was beaming at the students, his arms opened wide, as if nothing could have pleased him more than all to see him. Welcome, he said. Welcome to New Year at Hogwarts. Welcome, he said. Welcome to New Year at Hogwarts. Before we begin our banquet, I'd like to say a few words. And here they are. Nitwit, Blubber, Oddment, and Tweak. Thank you. Is he a bit mad? He asked Percy. Is he a bit mad? He asked Percy uncertainly. Mad? said Percy airily. He's a genius, best wizard in the world, but he's a bit mad. Potatoes, Harry. Harry's mouth fell open. The dishes in front of him were now so piled with food. He had never seen so many things he'd like to eat on one table. Roast beef, roast chicken, pork chops and lamb chops, bacon and steak, boiled potatoes, roast potatoes, chips, Yorkshire pudding, peas, carrots, gravy, ketchup, and for some strange reason, mint humbugs. The Dursleys never exactly starved, but he'd never been allowed to eat as much as he liked. Dudley had always taken anything that Harry really wanted, even if it made him feel sick. Harry pied with his plate with a bit of everything except the humbug and began to eat. It was all delicious. And he got a bit of everything. That does look good, said the ghost in the roof sadly, watching Harry cut up his stick. Can't you? I haven't eaten for nearly 500 years, said the ghost. I don't need it, of course, but one does miss it. I don't think I've introduced myself. Sir Nicholas Demency Poppington at your service, resident ghost of Gryffindor Tower. I know who you are, said Ron suddenly. My brothers told me about you. You're nearly headless, Nick. I would prefer you to call me Sir Nicholas de Mempsey. The ghost began stiffly, but sandy-haired Seamus Finnegan interrupted. Nearly headless? How can you be nearly headless? Like this, he said irritably. He seized his left ear and pulled. His whole head swung off his neck and fell onto his shoulder so he could take his head off and put it back on, as if it was on a hinge. Someone had obviously tried to behead him, but not done it properly. Looking pleased at the stunned looks on their face. Nearly headless Nick flipped his head back onto his neck, coughed and said, "Sir, new Gryffindors, I hope you're going to help us win the House Champion this year." Gryffindor have never gone so long without winning. Slytherin had got the cup 6 years in a row. The Bloody Baron becoming almost unbearable. He's the Slytherin ghost. How did he get covered in blood? No, I mean, he looked over the Slytherin table and saw a horrible ghost sitting there with blank staring eyes, a gaunt face and robe stained with silver blood. He was right next to Malfoy, who was Harry pleased to see and looked too pleased with the seating arrangements. How did he get covered in blood? Asked Seamus with great interest. I've never asked, said nearly headless Nick delicately. A moment later, the puddings appeared, blocks of ice cream in every flavour you could think of. Apple pies, truffle tarts, chocolate eclairs and jam donuts, trifle, strawberries, jelly, rice pudding. So many yummy stuff. As Harry helped himself to chocolate tart, the talking turned to their families. I'm half and half, Seamus. Me dad's a muggle. Mom didn't tell him she was a witch till after they were married. Bit of a nasty shock for him. The others laughed. What about you, Neville? Said one. Well, my gran brought me up and he's a wit, said Neville, but the family thought I was muggle for ages. My great uncle Algie kept trying to catch me off my guard and force some magic out of me, but he pushed me off the end of Blackpool Pie once. I nearly drowned, but nothing happened until I was 8. Great Uncle Algie came round footing and he was hanging me out of an upstairs window by the ankles when my great auntie Enid offered him a macaroon and he accidentally let go. But I bounced all the way down the garden and into the road. They were all really pleased. Gran was crying. She was so happy, and you should have seen their faces when they got in here. They thought I might not be magic enough to come, you see. Great Uncle Algie was so pleased he brought me my toy. On Harry's other side, Percy, Weasley and Hermione we're talking about this. I do hope they should start straight away. There's so much to learn, and I'm particularly interested in transfiguration, turning something into something else, of course. It's supposed to be very difficult. You will be starting small, just matches into needles and that sort of thing. Harry, who was starting to feel warm and sleepy, looked up at the high table again. Hagrid was drinking deeply from his sorry. Hagrid was drinking deeply from his goblet. Professor McGonagall was talking to Professor Dumbledore. Professor Quirrell, in his absurd turban, was talking to teacher with greasy black hair, a hooked nose, and sallow skin. It happened very suddenly. The hooked nose teacher looked past Quirrell's turban straight into Harry's eyes, and a sharp, hot pain shot across on Harry's forehead. Ow! Harry clapped a hand to his head. What is it? Asked Percy. Nothing. The pain had gone as quickly as it had come. Harder to shake off was the feeling he had got from the teacher's look. A feeling that he didn't like at Harry at all. Who's that teacher talking to Professor Quirrell? He asked. Oh, you know Quirrell already, do you? No wonder he's looking so nervous. That's Professor Snape. He teaches potions. But everyone knows he's after Quirrell's job. Knows an awful lot about the dark arts. Snape. Harry watched Snape for a while, but Snape didn't look at him again. At last, the pudding's tube disappeared, and Professor Dumbledore got his food. The whole fell silent. Ahem. Just a few more words. Now we are all fed and watered. I have few start or term notices to give you. First years should know that the forest in the grounds is forbidden to all pupils, and a few of our older students would do remember that as well. Dumbledore's twinkling eyes flashed into the direction of the Weasley twins. I have also been asked by Mr. Filch, the caretaker, to remind you that no magic should be used between classes in the corridor. Quidditch trials will be held in the second week of term. Anyone interested in playing for the house team should contact Mrs. Who. And finally, I must tell you that this year, the third floor corridor on the right-hand side is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to die. A very painful death. Harry laughed, but he's one of the few who did. He's not serious, he muttered to Percy. Must be, said Percy, frowning at Dumbledore. It's odd because he usually gives us a reason why we're not allowed to go somewhere. The forest is full of dangerous beasts. Everyone knows that. I do think he might have told us prefects, at least. Dumbledore gave his wand a flick, as if he was trying to get a fly off the end and and a long golden ribbon flew out of it, which rose high above the tables and twisted itself snake-like into wires. Everyone picks a favourite tune, said Dumbledore, and off we go. And the school bellowed, Hogwarts, Hogwarts, Hoggy Watty Hogwarts, teach us something, please. Whether we be old and bold or young with scabby knees, our heads could do with filling with some interesting stuff. For now they're bare and full of air, head flies and bits of fluff. So teach us things worth knowing, bring back what we've forgot. Just do your best, we'll do the rest, and learn until all our brains are all rot. Everybody finished the song at different times. At last, only the Weasley twins were left singing alone to a very slow funeral march. And learn until our brains all rot. Dumbledore conducted the last few lines with his wand, and when they finished, he was one of the loudest. And he was one of those who clapped the loudest. Ah, music, he said, wiping his eyes. A magic beyond all we do here and now. And I played the violin and piano. And now, bedtime, off you trot. Harry's legs were like leaves again, but only caught. He was so tired and full of food. He was even too sleepy, even to be surprised that the people in the portraits along the corridors whispered and pointed as they passed. Or that twice Percy led them through doors and ways hidden behind sliding panels and hanging tapestries. He climbed more staircases, yawning and dragging their feet, and Harry was wondering how much. Peeves! Whispered to the first years. A poltergeist. He raised his voice. Peeves, show yourself! A loud, rude sound like the air being let out of a balloon answered. Do you want me to go to the Bloody Baron? There was a pop, and a little man with wicked dark eyes and wide mouth appeared. Ooh, he said with an evil cackle. Ickle thirsties, what fun. He swooped suddenly at them. They all ducked. Go away, Peeves, or the Baron will hear about this. I mean, but Percy. You want to watch out for Peeves, said Percy as they set off again. The Bloody Baron's the only one who can control him. He won't even listen to us, prefects. Here we are. Password, she said. Caput Drunkenness, said Percy, and the portrait swung forward to reveal a round hole in the wall. They all scrambled through it. Neville needed a leg up and found themselves in the Gryffindor common room, a cosy round full of squishy armchairs. They found their beds at last. 5 four-posters hung with deep red velvet curtains. Their trunks had already been brought up. Too tired to talk much, they pulled on their pajamas and fell into bed. Great food, isn't it, to hurry through the hangings. Get off, Scabbers. He's chewing my sheets. Perhaps Harry had eaten a bit too much, because he had a very strange dream. He was wearing Professor Quirrell's turban, which kept talking to him, telling he must transfer to Slytherin at once, because it was his destiny. Harry told the turban he didn't want to. It got heavier and heavier. He tried to put it on, but it tightened painfully. And there was Malfoy. Then Malfoy turned into the hook-nosed teacher, Snape, whose laugh became high and cold, and there was a burst of green light. He rolled over and fell asleep again, and when he woke the next day, he didn't remember the dream at all. By the end of chapter 7. Bye-bye.